So this article that came out from the Business Journal basically talks about what's going to happen to the real estate market in 2023. And here are my thoughts. They talk about how inflation is our biggest threat. I 100% agree with that. I think if inflation doesn't get tampered down consistently, we're going to see interest rates go up. So to me, it starts with inflation, then it moves to interest rates, which then translates into if the housing market's going to slow down. Then it talks about how Redfin thinks our home prices are going to go down this next year. It also talks about things like there's going to be a lot fewer sales, home transactions. So the way that looks is there's going to be a continued downward pressure on prices if inflation doesn't get kind of tampered down. It's going to translate into fewer sales because less people are going to be able to afford to buy. So not every seller who gets on the market will actually be able to sell. In the last 2 years, almost every seller could sell at some point, but in a previous market prior to the pandemic, not every house sold either. So it's going to really depend on the number of houses that won't actually get offers to sell. And a lot of that has to do with pricing expectation of what the seller wants and what the market's willing to get. It also talks about how a lot of economists can't really predict what's going to happen next. There's a lot of moving parts to this economy and a lot of global things that affect our economy. Overall, the article really stresses that if inflation over the next several months does not come down, it's going to dramatically affect our real estate market. We've had an affordability problem before the interest rates went up, and now we're still going to continue to have an affordability problem with the inflation numbers and all the things going on. They also talk about how some parts of the country are going to have drastic price cuts because so much migration happened in the last few years for political reasons and the ability to work from home reasons, and those have all slowed down or stopped. Luckily for Portland, we're not one of those. All of the things you've been wanting to know about foreclosures, at this time, most economists are saying there's too much of an equity position for sellers to have the risk factors be high enough for more foreclosures to come in the market. All in all, I fairly agreed with this article the way it was written. I like when people say they really don't know what's going to happen. I think a lot of people's confidence is dependent on what's going to happen after the first of the year. There's a lot of people kind of in limbo waiting. They're waiting, are interest rates going to go down again? Are they going to go up? What's going to happen with this, that, and the other? And I think it's just a wait and see for a lot of folks. And that's going to cause a little market hesitation here in the interim.